So we have verses 64, 65, 66 of chapter 18 of the Bhagwad Gita lined up for today. I'll start with verse number 64. I will chant. सर्वगूयतमं भूय शृणु मे परमं वच इष्ठोऽसि मे दृढमितिः तथो वक्ष्यामि ते हितम्. So the verse translates to, Hear again my supreme word, the most secret of all. You are dear to me, so I will speak what is beneficial for you. So let's take this up word by word. Sarva guhyatamam. Sarv is all, guhyatamam, secret. So Sarv guhyatamam becomes the greatest secret of all, the greatest secret, of all the secrets. Bhuya, again. Shrinu here, may my paramam supreme vachaha is word. Ishtha, beloved, dear. Asi are, may my drinam. Drin. So that's firm. Drinam becomes firmly. Iti thus, tatah so, vakshami will speak. Te your hitam benefit or what is beneficial for you. For you is implied. So the verse translates to, Hear again my supreme word, the most secret of all. You are dear to me, so I will speak what is beneficial for you. So let's chant it together. सर्वगूयतमं भूय शृणु मे परमं वचाः इष्ठोऽसि मे दृढमितिः ततो वक्ष्यामि ते हितम्. So in the previous verse, which we just recapped, Lord has concluded the discourse. What did he say? He said that the knowledge has been declared by me. You contemplate, you think about it, and do as you please. But in this verse, what is happening is that Lord Krishna is offering to repeat the supreme knowledge, which is the greatest secret, with personal advice for Arjun, as Arjun is dear to Lord Krishna. Now, repetition is a very important method of imparting knowledge. So, you may recollect, at least I remember I started my education in a Hindi medium school. Every morning assembly, we would not sing hymns and all. I mean, I went to a convent later on. I still remember that was in class one or two, something like that. We used to repeat the tables. So, tables from 1 to 12, we used to repeat in the morning assembly. And this was in Hindi, okay? Till now, and I think, I mean, I shifted to the English medium shortly after that. But when I am actually going through the multiplication tables, this is multiplication tables, right? Till 12, tables till 12 are still etched in my memory, and I will say it in Hindi actually. So, repetition is a great method for imparting knowledge. And you will realize that when we chant the starting invocation and the closing invocation, by now you already know it. You just are able to say it, recite it. Now, in this case, when we are talking of the Bhagavad Gita, the subtle topics, it's a very, very subtle topic and it is difficult to grasp. Therefore, repetition is essential. In fact, the subtler the knowledge, the greater is the repetition required for the concept to register and settle in all us seekers. And of course, Arjun is dear to Lord Krishna, Arjun has been devotedly and attentively listening to the Lord's discourse. But now Arjun is a Kshatriya. By temperament, he is a Kshatriya. And Arjun feels that maybe with his Kshatriya intellect, he may not have fully understood what the Lord was trying to impart to him, which was essentially a spiritual discourse, right? So he seems to be waiting for specific instructions from Lord Krishna. This whole thing is also in line with the Guru Shishya Parampara, where the disciple waits for more knowledge, personalized knowledge from the Guru. And in case, I mean, the Guru is, of course, able to understand whether one is understood or not, the disciple is understood or not. So, in case the Guru feels that something else needs to be spoken or clarified for the student who may not have fully assimilated the depth and import of the philosophy that was communicated. Also, once again, because of his Kshatriya temperament, Arjun is expecting Krishna to recast the whole philosophy into a precise, definitive, decisive command. That's how it works, right, for the warrior classes. So, understanding this silent demand of Arjun, Krishna is wrapping up the sermon with a personal advice as a gesture of his fondness for Arjun. And therefore, Lord Krishna is offering to repeat the final guideline for spiritual enlightenment, which is beneficial for Arjun. So, let's move on to verse number 65. मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मध्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यसि सत्यं ते प्रतिजाने प्रियोऽसि मे. So the verse translates to fix your mind on me, be devoted to me, sacrifice to me, bow down to me. You shall come to me only. Truly, I promise to you, you are dear to me. So, man mana. So, man is mind, mana on me. So, man mana becomes with mind on me or with mind fixed on me. Bhav bhi, mad bhakta. Mad in all this is me, ma, mad, so on and so forth. So, mad bhakta, be devoted to me. Madhyanji, sacrifice to me. Mam, me, namaskuru, bow down. So, bow down to me. Mam is to me. Eve only, Ashyasi shall come. Satyam is truth, te to you, Pratijani promise, Priya, dear, Asi are, may, my. So fix your mind on me, be devoted to me, sacrifice to me, bow down to me. You shall come to me only. Truly, I promise to you, you are dear to me. So let's chant it together. मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मध्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यसि सत्यं ते प्रतिजाने प्रियोऽसि मे. So now, see, the secret knowledge was revealed in great detail in chapter 9, which was the Raj Vidya, Raj Guhya Yoga, the yoga of royal knowledge and royal secret. In this particular verse, verse number 65, the first line of this verse is the same as the first line of the 34th verse of the 9th chapter, which asked Arjuna to engage in Lord's devotion. So, what Lord Krishna is saying, that develop a deep love for Lord Krishna and have his mind absorbed in exclusive devotion to him. To him, as we've been saying, means God. So that Paramatman. So, doing this, Lord Krishna assures Arjun of attaining the supreme goal. Now, where the mind is, it, our mind actually is driven by emotions, and it moves in the direction of love, right? So, once we are we love something, there is no difficulty in turning our mind towards the objects that we love. And some verses back, we had discussed about devotion and love, because each time we are talking about these two words, and we had discussed, and we will repeat the method of learning which the previous verse mentioned. So, devotion and love actually represent the same emotion. Both of them mean identification with the object of devotion or of love. Typically, affection or love toward affection towards peers and juniors is called love, whereas towards greater beings is called bhakti or devotion. So, love is the degree of identification that we have towards another object or being. It helps us understand the person and relate to the person. So the mother's love for the child helps her understand the child. Similarly, a guru's love enables a guru to understand the disciple. Now, devotion towards a higher person or a goal similarly enables the seeker to understand the person, the higher person, or the guru, and the goal. So that is also to be understood. Now, devotion arises from the faith that we place in a person and, or God. That's the highest level that we can go to. And so does love, actually. So the child has complete faith in the mother, and the faith that we place in a doctor, for example, when he or she is going to perform a procedure on us, we may not understand it completely, but we have faith in the doctor that the doctor will do whatever is best for my health and to the best of his or her capability. So, faith is a deep trust or belief which often is unproven or unseen. And devotion is the active, loving commitment and dedication which springs from this faith that we place in a person or an object. And devotion is expressed through consistent practice, service, heartfelt connection to the object of that belief. So, to that extent, faith or trust is the foundation, and devotion is the expression of love. Faith is the trust foundation, or trust is the foundation, and love or devotion is the expression. Now, in case of understanding and reaching God, faith and devotion is the key, because we are trying to reach that infinitude through our limited equipment, through the finitude. And this we had discussed that in chapter 11, the vision of the cosmic form. Only Arjun and Sanjaya were able to see that cosmic form because they were given by the divine vision. So, divine vision means that extra power was given to the sight, to the sense of sight, to both Arjuna and Sanjay. So, granting of divine vision was by the grace of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord. And not only did God provide the divine eyes, but also divine mind and intellect to comprehend that divinity which was there in front of Arjun and Sanjay. So it was only with divine senses, mind, and intellect, by the grace of God, could Arjun and Sanjay see God's divine, majestic opulence and comprehend it. Right. So This is what I thought we'd briefly recap. Now, in this verse, what the Lord is saying is that it is out of love that he will tell, he's telling, sharing with him, and what Arjun should do is fix his mind on the Lord, be devoted to him, sacrifice and bow down to me. You will come to me only, that I promise you, right? So in love and devotion, nothing is expected back in return from the object of love or devotion. The moment we, even in our worldly transactions, if we are expecting something in return, we must appreciate we are not loving purely. So if you love your child and expect something from the child, or you love your parents and expect something from the parents, boss, so on and so forth, the moment you are expecting something in return, please appreciate it is not pure love. It has become a transaction. It is selfish love or devotion. So even when we sing the arti for the god, in every stanza we are asking for, give me this and give me this, give me this, give me this. So right, so well, fine, okay, maybe it's helping us purify, but we are asking for something in return. Loving without expecting something in return is love. And love, we have discussed, is the identification with the object of love, and devotion is identification with the object of devotion. So when we talk about total devotion, which is what the Lord is asking for, it means complete identification. Our personality does not exist there at all, or it is the complete surrender of our personality to merge with that of Lord. So when we create devotion for God, our mind will automatically move in that direction. And this is what the import is when Lord Krishna is saying that be devoted to me. So bring your mind through devotion to God. Invoke me. So the word is namaskuru, so which means surrender or invoke. So invoke me, surrender to me. The intellect must fix the mind on God in every transaction of life that is undertaken. And the body then should direct all effort towards the ultimate goal. This complete surrender of the personality assures self realization. This is guaranteed. This is what the verse is saying. We become one with God. And Lord Krishna again says, you are dear to me. So he's saying that love is it's because of my love for you that uh, I'm repeating this for you. And love is the correct motive for uh, behind all the spiritual teachings. That's why, if you remember, the starting invocation that we say, that it includes the thing that we should not harbor ill will towards each other. We should continue to work in the spirit of love and cooperation, right? So that is the correct force behind all spiritual teachings. So unless a teacher has infinite love for the subject to be taught and for the student, there is no inspiration or joy in the teaching. Without love and dedication, a professional teacher is at best only a wage earner, right? So the teacher then really does not inspire either the student or this topic under discussion. So, you know, more importantly, the teacher himself or herself does not have the sense of satisfaction and fulfillment, which should come as true rewards of explaining something. With that, let's move on to verse number 66. सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचा. Fully relinquishing all dharmas or all natures, take refuge in me alone. I will liberate you from all sins. Grieve not. So let's take this up word by word. Sarv is all. Dharma is dharmas or natures. So sarv dharman becomes all natures. Parityajya, having completely relinquished. Mam to me, ekam alone, sharanam, refuge, vaj to take, aham I, tvam to you, sarva papebhya. Serve all, pap is sin, so serve papebhya becomes from all sins. Mokshyashyami will liberate. Uh, Ma do not, shuchaha grieve. So fully relinquishing all natures, take refuge in me alone. I will liberate you from all sins, grieve not. So let's chant it together. सर्वधर्मान्यपरित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. So, in the previous verse that we just did, Lord Krishna had repeated the physical, mental, and intellectual disciplines to be observed for self realization or attaining that Paramatman. This verse, so see, look at the tone. The previous verse said that read or translated to fix your mind on me, be devoted to me, sacrifice to me, bow down to me, you shall come to me only. Truly, I promise you, you are dear to me. Right? In this, so you will come to me. That was the seeker will go to the God. Here, what he is saying is, by fully relinquishing all dharmas, take refuge in me alone, I will liberate you from the sins. Grieve not. So the shift of the responsibility is on God. So the responsibility of reaching God has reached to God. So once we surrender to God exclusively, God will remove all our vasanas, whether positive or negative, which is being referred by the word sarva papebhya. Everything God is will take care of. So don't worry. And that's what he says, grieve not, don't worry. Now, the same thing was mentioned in verse number 22 of chapter 9. Small question, if anyone remembers at that point of time why we had said that that was one of the most important verses, or that was the gem of the verse in the Bhagwad Gita, in the entire Bhagwad Gita, verse number 22 of chapter 9. Does anyone remember? Okay, so it was the most important verse of Gita, and that's why it occurred at the midpoint in the text. Chapter 9, verse 22 was the mid of Bhagavad Gita. And just like in a necklace, the greatest piece or the best piece is always in the center of the necklace. The biggest or the most precious stone is always strung in the middle of the necklace. So that was again an important verse, like this verse. This verse is very, very important too. In that verse, verse number 22 of chapter 9, God had said, Vahamya aham, or I will personally carry my devotees or those who surrender exclusively to me. So it is celebrated verse because God is promising the final merger with His grace and with His immortal being. So, what an assurance of protection and the final merger, that once we surrender to the Lord, just as Arjun has actually given the reins of his chariot to the Lord in the war, so it's completely with the Lord. So the we place our lives in the hands of a driver. When the driver is driving the car, you're surrendering to the driver actually. So The result of such surrender, I mean, of course, the driver is not God. In case of Arjun, he was lucky that it was the Lord himself who was his driver. So the results of such surrender is Lord's protection under all circumstances. So God makes it as his responsibility. In other verses, we have been reading it as the seeker's responsibility. So even in this verse, which is again one of the celebrated verses of the Bhagavad Gita, God promises the final merger with his immortal being. In that complete surrender to the Lord, all our vasanas will be sublimated, which is being referred to as Sarv Dharman, all dharmas. See, dharma is in plural here. So, Lord is asking us to fully relinquish all dharmas and take refuge in God. So, what is this dharma? And why are we using it in plural? What is dharma? Dharma is our essence or the essence of anything. It is what makes a thing what it is, and without which a thing is not what it is. So, this bit we recap each time that we start a chapter. So, the essence of sugar is sweetness, right? It may or may not be crystalline, it could be liquid. The shape or the condition of this sugar does not matter, but it should be sweet. Similarly, fire should have heat. So, what is our essence? What is our nature? What is it that makes me me, and without which I am not what I am? What is my dharma? So this is the dharma, what makes, which is my sense, which is my nature, which makes me me, and without which I am not what I am. So in this context, the word dharma now has absolute and relative interpretations. The first, which is the absolute interpretation, is that my essence, is which arises from God, it is God, right? The relative interpretation is the duties, my obligatory duties, which arise from the current birth. Because my current birth is based on my nature, my vasanas, and my past actions. My aim in this life is to sublimate my vasanas so that I become liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Sublimation of vasanas, we have been reading through the chapters 3 onwards, is done by performing obligatory duties in the spirit of service and sacrifice. These duties have to be done righteously or under the laws of dharma. Dharma is to be consistently followed to do my dharma, to do my obligatory duty. And that's why it's called dharma. Obligatory duty is my dharma. So it'll be doing this, doing the obligatory duties, first and foremost, having the discrimination to understand what is obligatory and what is not. Then to do the obligatory duty righteously is a tall order. It is extremely arduous and painful initially, but with practice and sublimation of our ego, we are able to, we become experienced, we become used to doing it. The path becomes nectarine. This is the Shreya path. So even when you do yoga or any workout, initially it's difficult, you're not able to go down or touch your toes, but with practice it becomes easy. Then you do it and you start enjoying it. So to follow dharma consistently is extremely painful initially, but the path becomes nectarine with practice. And this is the Shreya path that we have been talking about, which the Katha Upanishad mentions. It is our ego and our vanity which makes us flout the dharma. So, when you see when the water is polluted, and you can afford to purify water and you or buy water, but maybe a poor person cannot. He is not earning enough to spend 1% of his salary on water. Actually, for him, it'll be what is 1% to us would be something like 15% for the person, for the poor man. So, what is our attitude? We really don't care two hoots about polluting our water sources, our environment, because we can afford to buy oxygen maybe, 1 or 2 years down the line, and or go travel out of Delhi and go and stay somewhere where the AQI is better. But so we become vain and proud. And the more intelligent and more prosperous we become, the more we tend to forget God's grace in all this. That God has given us pure water, pure environment for our consumption. We forget all that, and we forget our contribution towards things. So we become egoistical, haughty, and pompous. This is the prayer path that we kept talked about in the we have been talking about across our sessions, uh, which is in direct contrast to the Shreya path. In this, following the prayer path, in this state, we are never content with what we have. We want more and more. So you get power, you want more power. We become greedy. And this is what the verse 1 of Ish Upanishad is saying, that Ma Gridha, don't have greed. Whose wealth? Kas swidhanam. Whose wealth is it anyway? It's not yours. So the same thing is being talked about by n number of our scriptures. Coming back to the verse, Lord Krishna throughout has been asking Arjun to do two things simultaneously: engage his mind in devotion and engage the body in fulfilling his duty, obligatory duty as a warrior, his Kshatriya dharma. So these are the two dharmas that we have been talking about. And now Lord Krishna is asking Arjuna to relinquish all dharmas. That is, all dharmas in plural means all actions which are prompted by our vasanas. So this is in the relative zone that we are talking about. So he's saying that relinquish all your vasanas in me. Now, the import of this statement is we have to understand that we are a baggage of vasanas. When we try to interpret it in our context, we have accumulated a vast vasana baggage over our various births and in the course of our spiritual journey. I mean, of course, everyone has to reach that Paramatman. If we were to work on each of these individual or on each of these vasanas individually, one by one, it may take us forever to reach that Paramatman. Therefore, what the Lord is saying, that relinquish all your vasanas, all dharmas, and take refuge in Him. He will clear us of our baggage. So we will automatically be cleared of the baggage. No vasanas will remain, which will propel us towards selfish actions or desire prompted action. We have done that chronology of action. The vasanas creates those thoughts, which creates requisite desires and action. So this cycle will stop. Our vasanas will stand sublimated, and no new desire will be germinated. It's like you have seeds, chia seeds, or whatever seeds. You roast the seed, you put it in the microwave and roast it. Good, well. That seed, if you were to go out and plant, it'll never germinate, right? So the seed has become actually useless from that point of view, will not give birth to more seeds or more plants of the same variety. Similarly, by complete surrender to God, our vasanas will be roasted, will come to naught. That means they will not give rise to any more desires. This is God's promise. And the fact that we are born as a human being is a sign that we have reached that stage of maturity to take that final leap by complete surrender to God. So we have to get our complete personality to cooperate for that final leap. And contemplation by itself is not a direct cause for realization or reaching God. It helps in sublimating our vasanas. So once the vasanas are liquidated, mind and intellect become pure, completely pure, and that is Brahman, the pure mind. Because we have been reading this again and again. That Maya that we talked about some verses back is a projection on that pure reality, that Brahman. So, Lord Krishna is telling Arjun not to fear, which you may recollect at the beginning of the Bhagwad Gita. Arjun says that how can I not incur sin by killing my kith and kin? So, Lord Krishna is telling Arjun not to fear. Lord will absolve Arjun from all sins and liberate him from material existence. Just Arjun needs to completely surrender his personality to God. Once, like Arjuna, we do the same thing, we will get beyond matter and time to reach that timeless and eternal abode. And this complete surrender of the personality, therefore, is assuring us self-realization, which is guaranteed. So, with that, we conclude our today's session.